Yo, this is DJP Coaching. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be running into a synth that I used in my track, some DJing already. It's a 𝙎𝙚𝙧𝙪𝙾 remix. So I took the acapella and built this track around it. This one's out on Energy Records. I'll put a little clip here so you can hear what it sounds like. Blue.
Make a sound boy retreat. When me tap me lick a finger, them get delete. Make a sound boy, them I rest in peace. Deep down there, it's a 6 feet deep. In the jamming and just see the people have fun. 𝙎𝙚𝙧𝙪𝙾 come for make them jump. Mashing up the road and me mashing up the clubs. Any liquor rhythm like a rubber dub.
Yeah, so I'm gonna break the track down a little bit, or break the synth down. And I just want to sort of build it up from where I started with, so you get an idea of what it's going to sound like in the end. So this is how it sounds. Let me take all this off just for a second. Boom, 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 boom. Right, so the patch started off with this analog BD sign. They're in the analog group there. I've raised that 2 octaves. I've lowered the fine cents by 17 and brought the random down. Brought up the wavetable position to about 13, just a little bit. And then I've got that FM'd from B, 100%. So after that, I've got this LFO1 that I set up. In fact, no, let's go into envelope. So the envelope one, it's got about 260 millisecond attack, about 60 millisecond release, and I think everything else is standard, you know. 0 sustain, 1 second of decay. So yeah, that's just standard. All I changed was the attack to 260 milliseconds and the release to 60. After that, I made this LFO. It's 8 bars on the rate, and it's just a slope curve going up to the end. So it's after 8 bars, it's going to go from the bottom to the top. LFO2, bit different here. That one's on trigger, by the way, so when I press the note down, it's going to start from the start every time. Off, I've got that set as off so that every 4 bars throughout the track it will just keep going regardless if it's being played or not. That's on 4 bars. I think after 1 bar it curls up a little bit and then just flattens out, and after halfway it goes up again, curves up to the end of the 4 bars. Now these LFOs are really important because they're connected to the matrix. So the LFO1 is affecting the filter cutoff, and but we'll touch on that now. In fact, so let me put Oscillator 2 on just in case, just to get this out of the way. That's using the distorted 𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀, which is in the digital folder, and it's there. These ones are really good. These nice distorted wavetables. They're really good for making like Reese-based sounds and stuff like that. Yeah, so now I'm on the Oscillator B. I've raised it by 2 octaves, same as the first one. Dropped the semitone down by 1. This will make sense more later. But basically it creates a stagnated sort of detuned sound where it oscillates between the 2 octaves. And then the fine tuning's up by 17, like that one was down by 17. The wavetable position is 239, and that's it for that. Random's all the way down. Oh yeah, and make sure you turn the level all the way down. If you're FMing from another channel or another oscillator, sorry, try and bring the volume down of that oscillator, so it's basically coming out of here into there and then out into the master together. So you don't need this playing because it'll run through each other out. So that not being turned up, it's fine. I hope that explains that a little bit. Yeah, so after that, I focus on the filter. In fact, I'll show you what it sounds like with the oscillator off, so you can hear just the sound itself. It's a bit jarring. Alright, and I'll show you this LFO. Alright, so LFO2 is, so LFO1 is connected to the cutoff here. So now that Oscillator B is on and filter's on, you can sort of feel the sound coming. You can hear the wobble. Right, and the cutoff's on about 1031. With the LFO1 bringing it all the way down, so it starts off open, and as that sort of goes like that, it closes. So whenever I press a new note, it will slowly be closing it off until I press another note, and then it will open and close that one off again. So it always feels like it's been pulled away from you. Yeah, and then LFO2 is connected to the master tuning. What I've done here is what you can do is when you double click on this, you can put in, for example, I don't know, -5 semitones, so -5 ST, and it will automatically put it to -5 semitones. Yeah, so that's basically sent to that. I make sure that the type on the cutoff here is set to one directional. Basically, you can have it bipolar, so that if I had that set to bipolar on the cutoff, it's going to do both sides of where the line is there. And if I change, I don't want to change that, I might not go back. And then I change that back to there, and it only does one direction, basically. That's useful for just manipulating it the way you want. Yeah, so after that, we've got some distortion going on here. I've ramped this distortion through. It was quite a quiet sound. I think I don't know what happened, but the drive's on 100%, mix is on 100%, and it's going through diode with the EQ sort of section turned off, which makes it sound like this. Right, then I add some chorus in there. Rates on about 0.09. Delay 1 and 2 are standard, I'm pretty sure, 5 and 0 milliseconds respectively. The depth is at 100%, it's 26 milliseconds. Feedback 61%, and the LFO's on 6633 Hz, about 6600 Hz. That's just to cut off the low end of the chorus, because it will make it sound muddy and phasey and strange. But if it's on the high end, it just adds extra depth to the room sound, I guess. That paired with reverb makes it sound a lot larger. So this is what it sounds like with the chorus and the distortion on. Alright. And then then we'll jump into the processing that I've done. So the most complicated part of the processing really is the octaves. I've just jumped the octaves about a bit. You'll be able to hear the difference. Basically, because this synth is self-oscillating, if I play it at different octaves, it gives it completely different tonalities while staying in the same key, which means that I can play it all the way across the keyboard, and each octave will sound like different. It'll be like, or the other one will be like, wow, 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 wow. You know, so they'll sound different, but it's the same synth. And if you can recreate this, then you've just got yourself like one of the coolest things I think I've ever made. Yeah, so this, you can tell this side here, the ratio, the octave of the A oscillator, which is this one here, is an octave. It's on +2 octaves right now, and when it goes down to here, it goes down, so you'll hear the difference. So this is the up, and that was 2 different octaves there. And then I put the octave down. So it's a combination of changing the actual octaves on the synth and then playing different octaves on the keyboard, and it gives you so much more like there's loads of options that you can do for different sort of sounds in there, which is I don't know, I think this is underrated. Yeah, so let me just, in fact I'll play a little bit so you know what it's doing. So this is a, what is this? F3, F4, 5, 6, 7. That's F0, then that's an octave lower than that, F-1, F-2. That was just me going up in octaves on the same note. Yeah, so it's so deep. There's so much you can do with this sound. And yeah, I think the other stuff is the outboard, the effects sort of stuff, and the mixing stage. So I've put some pretty heavy compression on there. I wouldn't usually do it like that these days, but this is the sound that I've got, so I'm gonna go into depth about this specific sound. Yeah, my ratio's on about 3.4, tax on about 5.4, and release is 1.13, 113 milliseconds, my bad. -12 on the threshold, and then after that put a saturator on there with a hard curve, 100% wet, and I put about 2.8 dB on the drive there for it, just to warm up the sound and glue them together, them two respectively. Well, saturators to warm up the sound, add a bit of crunch to it. So in fact I'll go through it one by one so you can hear it. So that's with a bit of compression on there, bit of saturation. Yeah, starting to get the idea now. And now I start toning it back. Now I've got the full sound. It sounds super distorted, it sounds disgusting, it sounds how I want it to. Then I need to start controlling it a little bit better. So put this EQ on here just to sort of filter in and out throughout the intro. So in the drop you can see it here, the high EQ. Certain sections I needed to fade the high end out, bring the high end back in, to make it feel like it's moving around in the track. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've got it cut off at 200 Hz with a sort of boost around there. So it was a nice mid sort of harmonic that I wanted to keep. About 330, I've ducked it down about 14.5 dB, proper duck, about 0.71 on the Q. And that's it really. The high EQ is just sort of dropping at the beginning, rising up, then there, it's in, but it drops out, and then it builds up the big sound. Yeah, after that, just a compressor on there. Just move these across so you can see it. Yeah, so after that I chuck this compressor on, pretty much the same as the original, but with just a bit less. In fact, it's the exact same as that with less threshold. It's on about 5.74. Then I put another compressor on there, with a sidechain to the drums, so that when the kick and the snare play, the bass sound ducks out of the way. 2 millisecond attack, 50 millisecond release. I'm surprised I kept that standard. Usually I'd clean it, make it a little bit tighter now, but I think this is quite a big sound, and the track, I kind of wanted the kick and the bass to sort of be arguing for space almost, to make it sound more aggressive. And then I've got another sidechain here, which is actually to the vocals, and this was just to sort of let the vocals jump over the top of the synth, and let the synth sort of jump back in the background if needs be, on important sections. That's just how the vocals work in this tune. A very in your face sort of thing. So yeah, and then after that I've got a bit of a little bit of automation on the volume there. I think the breakdown, something else sort of comes in over it, and I need to sort of drop it down a little bit. And yeah, the last thing is the reverb. Yeah, which is the part that really brings everything together for me. So I've got Sanford reverb on here. I'm pretty sure this is free, so if you need a good reverb, I'd recommend the Sanford reverb, especially for big sort of organic sounding stuff. If you're looking for free reverbs, you can't do better than this, and probably the 𝙀𝙯 reverb, or just the standard Ableton ones. They're all you can get the similar sound from all reverbs really, but it's just the tonality really is, becomes just a taste. So really all it is there is 100% wet. There is, so it's on a bus track. The time is pretty big, 12 seconds on that reverb. It's fairly damp, around 5,000 hertz, and then the dampness is put to 5,000 hertz. The low cut is about 250, just to get around this EQ. So the reverb only comes down to about there, where this. So I didn't want reverb for that. Basically, I wanted that to be dry coming through. Whereas all this stuff, reverb it up. I can control that afterwards. So yeah, so I didn't want any bass reverb, and then the high cut frequency is on 1111111.1. Yeah, so I just didn't want super high end reverb. I wanted the reverb to be sort of, if that's like an EQ saying, and this is the bass section. Oh wait, no, that's the bass there, right? You want the reverb to sort of be like that, if that makes sense. Sort of mid highs, but not too high, because it can really it can become too, it doesn't make it sound how you want it to realistically. Having so much high end in the reverb, it kind of messes up the cymbals. You can't hear the crispiness of the track, and personally I kind of like it to be as like clean as possible. So when I'm making stuff like this, I try and take that into account, and have to learn that over time. So it's just thought I'd explain that, because it's only a small thing, but it might make sense now to you. So yeah, so that's the reverb. That's it. Then there's a compressor on here doing some pretty fat compression here. Actually, I'm surprised. But yeah, standard attack and release ratios on 4/1, thresholds on -17. And then I've sidechained the reverb to the drums, to the kick and the snare. So I'll give you an example of what this is going to sound like. So this is what it sounds like with just the reverb on the synth, and then I'll show you the reverb sidechain. Yeah, so the reverb automation builds up towards the end of each note. So you'll notice on this one as well. Yeah, so the reverb basically it's dry, and then as it's breaking down into the next section, it's building up, and then it opens up, and then the vocals come in and sit over the top of the reverb, and that's the plan anyway. So after that, I want to show you the sidechain on the reverb, because this is the bit that makes so much of a difference. It's actually understated. It's crazy. So this is the reverb. I'll show you what it sounds like without the sidechain first, so you get an idea of what it's what it's improving. So I'll show you just the before the drop and all the sounds together. Right, and now if we compare it to, oh, it was already on, bloody hell. Now if we turn it off, I'll show you what it sounds like with it off. Come here. Do you know what I mean about the reverb? So when this reverb ends, you hear the drums almost being obscured by the reverb, like it's masking the drums. I'll show you again. Right, when I turn this back on, when this reverb tails off, you'll hear the drums punching through and the reverb ducking underneath, and this makes it sound larger because of the reverb, obviously, but it also makes it sound controlled as well. And like, if you can have reverb being ducked out the way, it can sound massive and really clean at the same time. So this is what it sounds like with the sidechain on the reverb. Yeah. Notice how the drums cut through a lot easier. And really, that's it. That's it. That's how you make the sound. That's how you make le bass. If there's anything else you want to know, maybe how I mix these vocals. In fact, I'll play it with the vocals now, so you can hear the way that the vocals jump in between. It makes more sense. So.
Me no let no DJ if the DJ in the planet. Me this like the DJ who cause for the damage.
You get the idea. So it ducks out the way, vocals come in, it jumps around like that, and then between there, I've got the automation changing the oscillators. I've got the notes changing. I've got the EQ sort of cutting out the high end here and there, and yeah, so it's all one bass. I know a few people have asked about it, so I thought I'd do a video on it. Yeah, so if you want to make a foghorny, crackly, I don't even know what it is, like it's some sort of like, it's like a foghorn in a washing machine. Yeah, if you want to make that, then there you go. That's how you make it. Yeah, I'm not going to put this preset in the description below because I like this a lot, and if you can remake it, happily do it, mate, do it, but I'm not giving it away for free. So yeah, future videos coming soon. I've just had a little break. I've just needed some time off. I've had a lot of stuff going on, and I've been a bit burnt out, so we're back now. I'm going to be doing more streams. Hopefully I want to get into streaming, maybe even games. If there's any games you want me to stream, put them in the comments below, because if there's any games that you guys can enjoy and we can talk about music production while we play games, then I'd be absolutely over the moon. Like that's all I'd want, really. So yeah, any other videos on the channel, go watch them, go put them on, man. There's sounds and there's basses and there's drums and stuff there for you to experience for free. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a subscribe and a like. It always helps the algorithm, and it helps me escape the dreaded life of life. So yeah, see you soon. Enjoy. Bye. And one sec before you go, I almost forgot, I do one-to-one teaching for music production and DJing based on your wants and needs, personalized to your goals. If you would like to start an EP with me, if you would like to learn how to create a DJ mix, if you would like to even learn how to promote yourself on social media, build yourself a brand and be confident in yourself, then get in touch and we can work something out. Give me a private DM, message me on DJP Coaching, however, whichever, whatever, just do it. Don't be afraid. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.